Coming up on the show, we discuss free dining coming to Disney World. A new VIP food tour is coming to the Magic Kingdom. We share a holiday tradition with you. And we dive into what we are looking forward to in 2019 with the Disney Company. All that and more on this episode of WDW Opinion. Cue the music.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
This is the podcast where two friends, Connor,
You are a child plaything!
and Hank,
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
share their opinions, tips, and stories about anything and everything at Walt Disney World.
Trust me, what could go wrong?
Get ready, because this is WDW Opinion.
We're in the tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Hello and welcome to episode number 24 of WDW Opinion, the podcast where friends talk Disney. We share our Disney World opinions so that you can start planning for and daydreaming about your next perfect Disney vacation. While we share our opinions, we also want to know what your Disney World opinions are. Share them with us on social media where we are at WDW Opinion. And visit WDWopinion.com to check out our blog posts on all things Disney and to see what we're up to in between episodes. There you can also get a free Disney trip planning checklist when you sign up for our weekly email newsletter. I am your host, Connor Brown, and I'm joined by my co-host and Disney partner in crime, Mr. Hank Molsky. Hank, I think it's important that we admit our failures as individuals.
Okay, let's go.
To err is to human, as someone once said. But in all honesty,
We're not gonna get. We're already fumbling through.
This is just we just want to let everyone know this is the second time we're trying to record this podcast. Something went horribly wrong the first time we tried, and so theoretically, this should be better.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Think?
So, if anyone thinks that this episode sounds particularly good or very funny, it's because it's rehearsed, and we're not actually. We're not actually this good.
Yeah, we've cut a lot of things, and dress, and now we're coming out the gate flying high.
Yeah. So if they're like, "Wow, they were really good this week," it's because we had to do it twice.
But also, if you think we sound really bad this week, then I think that's incredibly telling.
Yeah, then
we're not actually
never
good
listen
at this.
again because this is as good as it's ever going to get.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, best episode ever. Let's go.
Let's know your thoughts because now it's time for News to Opinion. This is our weekly segment where we each pick a recent Disney story to discuss and share our thoughts and opinions on. My Disney news story of the week is that the summer 2019 free dining plan offer is now available for Walt Disney World. Free dining is back at Walt Disney World for 2019. This is from WDW News Today. Walt Disney World guests booking vacations between July 5th through September 30th of 2019 are eligible for the offer when purchasing a non-discounted 5-night, 6-day vacation package that includes a room at a select Walt Disney World Resort hotel and tickets with a Park Hopper or Park Hopper Plus option. The offer will be available to book through February 10th, 2019 for arrivals most nights July 5th through September 30th, 2019, while offer supplies last. So, free dining has been going on for what seems like probably close to a decade, maybe even a lot longer than that. And I know so many people really rely on this to book their vacation. They're in the Disney interwebs, as it were, the online community. People are always saying, "When's free dining going to come? When's free dining come?" Almost like they need this in order to book a Disney vacation.
Yeah.
And I think in recent years, Disney has kind of had a gun held to their head in a certain way, and where they have to do this,
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're also making it more and more of a challenge, or I guess more and more requirements are associated with this to reap the benefits. Because here's what it comes down to. Yes, you get a free Disney dining plan when you book a vacation here.
Yeah.
But if your budget is for 5 nights, 6 days, and your budget already included a park hopper, then this plan is perfect for you.
Right,
no doubt
right.
about it. You book this, you get the dining plan for free. That's easy. That's easy money. But if you're thinking about, well, I really only want to do a 3-night vacation or a 4-night vacation, and I don't need a park hopper, well, that's a significant increase, especially if you have a family of 4, family of 5. And then on top of that, what you have to think about is if you use the dining plan normally, meaning would you eat that amount of food?
No, Connor, I would never.
No way, right?
It's so much food. But hey, listen, everyone's got their own trip, Everyone's going to plan their own type of vacation. But for me, holy cow, it's a lot of food you got to eat to get your value's worth.
I think for Hank and I in our season of life right now, we're very much, get into the parks, we'll grab something at like Pecos Bills, we'll snack away, around. I'm not eating breakfast really. Yeah. And then I might get a quick service for dinner, or I might just have a couple of reservations per trip. And, I'm not a reservation every day.
Kind of for you and me too. We love, there's always so much new happening. There's so many festivals that go on in all the parks. There's, you're always there for some type of occasion. You're going to want to explore, at least, this is totally a personal opinion. This is my opinion on WDW Opinion. There's just too much to explore in the parks to really confide yourself to just very strict meal plans, and it's not for everyone. We like to open up the possibilities to explore around the parks and not, have to be stuck to this fact that you're really sticking to a meal plan throughout the trip.
Absolutely. And I think the big kicker for this year is, so if you want to book at these resorts, so these are deluxe resorts or deluxe villa resorts.
Oh boy.
So if you want to book at Animal Kingdom, Beach Club, Boardwalk, Contemporary, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Wilderness Lodge, Yacht Club, Saratoga Springs, or Old Key West, if you book there with this package, 5 nights, park hoppers, you'll get the free Disney dining plan. But if you're looking to book at Caribbean Beach, Coronado Springs, Port Orleans Riverside, All-Star Music, All-Star Sports, the family suites only at Art of Animation, and Pop Century, if you book at any of those places, you'll only get the Disney quick service dining plan.
That's crazy, man.
Which means you're not sitting down anywhere. And if that's your plan and you're not a sit-down restaurant kind of group, that's fine. Just you need to keep that in mind, that if you want to sit down for a meal, you'll be paying out of pocket, or you'll be using, a combination of multiple quick service credits, because I think you can do that. I think you can use 2 or something. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but it might not be worth it. So you just have to weigh your options when it comes to this, and you don't have to be held like it's an end all be all.
You and I have always said this too, is find the advantages for your vacation. There's always going to be a way. There's ways to plan, a really cost-effective trip that's 2 or 3 days. And, buy at the right time of the year where there's seasonal holiday rates, that type of thing. If you're a party that wants to go for 6-7 days and you need that park hopper option, like you're saying, hey, you just found the deal. There are just a lot of different avenues that you have to take as a Disney fan or a Disney vacation planner to find, what makes sense for your trip. And this one, while the word, like you say, Connor, the word free in front of it really draws a lot of people in, you got to understand, it's for a very select type of vacation that it actually is a free thing.
Absolutely. It all comes down to what you're going to do and what you're going to...
Don't be distracted.
What the budget...
Don't be distracted.
Don't get distracted.
Yeah, the word free.
Exactly. Don't get distracted by the word free. All right, Hank, what is your Disney news story of the week?
Connor, my news story this week was new Taste of Magic Kingdom Park VIP tour to begin in February. This is from WDW Info. The story says, many Walt Disney World guests plan their vacation under the strategy as come for the food, stay for the attractions. 2 food stories this week. It seems Disney is paying attention, as this February we will see the debut of the Magic Kingdom VIP tour centered around the culinary offerings of the resort's flagship park. Bookings are now available for dates as early as February 24th for the Taste of Magic Kingdom Park VIP tour. Tickets run at $99 per person. This is a separately ticketed tour, so you also got to get your ticket to the park in Magic Kingdom to get on that thing. Tour dates are currently available on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. It lasts 3 hours. Disney explains it in 5 parts. Uncovering the magic behind the meals. This is where you talk to cast members behind the scenes, Imagineering new food items, yada, yada, yada. Go behind the scenes, so it means you're actually going to go backstage and see the kitchens where people have never seen them before, as they would say.
Ooh.
Yeah. Connor's seen them. Spoiler. Delight and delicious tastings. Along the way, you can eat some food. Imagine that. Taste the future. Which is going to they're going to give you some highlights of stuff that's coming out in the future, or stuff they're probably workshopping, and VIP treatment, which means there'll be a guide with Connor. This is one of the telltale, or the tale as old as time stories of you don't really want to see how the sausage is made, right?
You do not want to see how this sausage is made.
See, I got that idiom right this time. Messed it up on the first podcast, but you guys don't get to hear that one. That's on the cutting room floor.
What did you say? You didn't. What the idiom you used was like, you don't want to see how the hot dogs are grilled, or
something like that. Hey, I got it right.
Sorry,
we got it right this time. So, but really, it feels odd. I always, as someone that's a fan of the Disney parks, an opportunity to see stuff backstage is always a plus. It's always something that's pretty exciting. So when Disney offers these things up, whether it's a VIP tour that you can go backstage, your ears perk up a little bit. But this one to me has an odd ring to it. It kind of seems like, what's the name of the big one at Magic Kingdom? The one where you get to go in the Utilidor system.
Keys of the Kingdom.
Keys of the Kingdom. That's incredible. That's a huge offering. Yeah. And this one was, to me, Connor, it feels like it's like we found a spot where people aren't standing and aren't paying to stand and might pay more to stand during the day and listen to someone. So, hey, let's sell it to them. It doesn't have that magical ring to me of seeing a backstage kitchen that are all quick service, basically, in the Magic Kingdom.
Well, I think that there are a couple points to make there. As a former cast member who worked at Magic Kingdom, I worked on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I wouldn't go through the Utilidors every day because there was other ways to get to the mine train. But every once in a while, I would go backstage in those areas. And for someone who's been there, it's not all glamorous when it comes to the kitchen kind of things, And like Hank is saying, I don't know if you actually want to see how the sausage is made, might ruin some of the magic, but that's kind of what these backstage tours are like. I think the difference between certain backstage tours and others is like this one almost seems like it might be like, oh, this magic isn't so magical.
Yeah. Where
the other ones are, even though you're going behind the scenes, behind the magic, it almost elevates the magic that's going on stage. Yeah. Then another thing with this is there's no like standard, you're going to go to Pecos Bills and then Casey's and then be our guest.
Yeah.
It could be whatever the chefs that day are feeling like, no, we want to send you over there or over there. Or at least that's the way it reads. So that unknown seems like a lot for this price point.
Yeah.
And it also seems like, I think it's just interesting.
Yeah, $99 isn't cheap for something like what you say behind the seats is. Behind the seats is under $50 in Epcot.
Yeah, behind the seats at Living with the Land, that's great. I've also done a swimming with the fish at the Living Seas. That was awesome. There's a big backstage element to that. There's plenty of great ones, but I think $99 on top of your ticket to get into the park that day.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Also, I mean, now I've paused and I've thought about this a little bit more. 3 hours is a long time to be going through kitchens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know how much. There's got to be some. They might be going to like the Central Command or something like this. But when you think when you think of the 4 theme parks, Hank, what's the one theme park you want to go behind the scenes for, food wise?
Oh yeah, Well, actually, no. I want to go. I want to go in Disney Springs and see like what's cooking, in Vallejo, or I want to see what's going on in like Frontera Grill, or these nice, world-renowned chefs that are coming to Disney Springs. Maybe you'll see, I can't think of any names. Rick Bayless,
Art Smith, or Masahari Morimoto, or Rick Bayless.
Yeah. Rick Bayless,
Jose Andres.
Yeah, Jose Andres. Any of them. Like, maybe you bump into one of them.
Or Guy Fieri.
Hey. But see,
Flavor Town.
But really, think about that. I mean, that's the interesting tour I want to go on. I would like to see Epcot as well, too.
That is true. That is very true.
But, yes.
Listen, I think the jury's still out on this one. Once we start to hear more, we start to see some reviews of people actually going on it, then maybe we might do it. Who knows?
Yeah.
For today's middle segment, Hank and I want to share a tradition we've been doing for the last few years. I think I'm going to ask Hank to take the lead on this, but Hank, why do you like waking up on Christmas morning or waking up on Thanksgiving morning and immediately checking the My Disney Experience app to look at wait times? What is it that compels you to do such a thing?
I was going to say this is one of our traditions that some of our more loyal listeners definitely are familiar with because we do get a kick out of it. But we encourage it to become a tradition for you as well, because there's nothing quite like waking up on Christmas morning and just staring in wonder at the times as they just skyrocket in the parks. And definitely this year, another reason we wanted to make this the middle segment this year was the stuff that we saw on New Year's Eve day. But Connor and I have talked in the past, even off camera, just that, we're in the age of everything's got a record to beat, I mean, and not an age. This has always been a thing. People have always been fighting to beat records. But, now when you look at like movie box offices and attendance numbers and loudest football stadiums and, records for, the biggest crowd ever in a stadium on a Sunday with, a soccer team playing. But there's always a record to break. And as Disney fans, I don't think there's quite any record that gets more entertaining than trying to see if you can see a new wait time record on the app.
Yeah.
Something that you can follow. And what bigger day of the year than a holiday when you're at home, warm in bed, having a hot cup of joe, and people are having a hot cup of Florida weather smacked in their face, trying to wait in line. But anyways, I mean, like we just open these things up, and Connor and I immediately start sending each other screenshots on Christmas. And, all week long, the numbers are pretty crazy. But like on New Year's Day, I still have some screenshots saved on my phone, and this is what we got to talk about. If you looked at Magic Kingdom and Epcot are the two parks that everyone's got to go to on New Year's Eve day, because Epcot has got the full day-long party. Connor will tell us a little bit about that. And then Magic Kingdom, obviously, you got to watch the fireworks on New Year's in front of Magic Kingdom. Cut live in the telecast from Dick Clark's thing every single year to Magic Kingdom. They're like, hey, look, this is what's going on in Orlando. Guess what? It's fireworks.
More fireworks.
We're going to go live to Chicago. Oh, wait, it's 11 o'clock there. But anyways, let's look at Magic Kingdom on New Year's Day. New Year's Eve day. Around 11 o'clock a.m. This was around noon. 180 minutes for Splash Mountain. It was like 50 degrees there also.
Yeah, that's crazy.
105 for Big Thunder Mountain. 95 for Jungle Cruise. See, now some of these are a bad Saturday. Some of these aren't crazy. 180 for Splash Mountain is insane. I don't think it gets much higher than that.
No.
It's only 140 for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That's not bad.
But I think the thing where you have to, put this into consideration is we had a friend who even brought this up. She was like, oh, I bet you going to Disney World on Christmas would be a great idea. And in theory, yes, it sounds like a great idea, right? That's a holiday where everyone wants to spend it with their family, their extended family. They're going to be home. They're going to be, unwrapping gifts around their tree. It makes sense that day would be less crowded at Disney World. But it's the complete opposite.
It's the complete opposite.
Because every single person was like, hey, we all have that week off. Let's do it. Let's go down there.
No one's going to want to be there on Christmas Day or on New Year's Eve day.
And then you're bombarded with gigantic lines on New Year's Eve day. Magic Kingdom closed because it reached capacity at one point, which is extraordinarily common for these three holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Yep.
One of the parks almost always closes down. This year it was only New Year's Eve day. But with these wait times, which are very, very, very long, you also have to factor in the sea of humanity outside of those queues.
This is a funny realization Connor and I had when we're looking at so it's fun. It is very fun to make fun of people in these lines. Be like, why would you pay all this money to be in a park and then get in line for 3 hours? Well, clearly you haven't taken a look at Twitter and seen what the pathways look like in between the rides. Because on these days, I mean, there are pictures of Liberty Square where it looked like Lollapalooza, or like Bono.
Yeah.
It looked terrible. You're shoulder to shoulder. You got hands on people in front of you so you don't get lost. I mean, it looked insane. So if someone came up to me and goes, "Hey, would you like to stand in some air conditioning for 3 hours? There's going to be some calm music. No one's going to be bumping into you. You can sit on the railings, maybe talk to your family, have a quiet couple hours. And you know what? Pop back outside, eat dinner, and then watch the fireworks later tonight." You'd be like, where do I sign up?
It's a sanctuary.
It's
an oasis.
Some queues more than the others.
And the crazy the photos where you just see everyone walking like that, like Hank was saying, with their hands on front of the person in their party in front of them so that they don't get lost. Those pictures are so telling because you're like, I can't see a single kid. And the reason you can't see a kid is because they're just a sea of adults covering the kids because there's no empty room. They're all below them.
It's like a music festival times 2 because there's 2 layers of people. There's the adult layer up top, and then there's another layer hidden below.
It's like a human sandwich.
Yeah, all these ankle biters that you're, kicking through. Oh, shoot, another kid.
And we were talking about this. I was actually getting anxious thinking of people waiting in the Splash Mountain queue because when you go in there and you're finally in the building and there's the red Georgia clay looking rocks and you're going past, these little scenes and stuff like that. I was like, if I was in that situation, I would think, and I just came from that sea of humanity to come in here, I would be like, oh my God, there's so many people outside. If for some reason this sea of humanity just crashes into this, I can't get out. I'm stuck here. Yeah. I'm going to be stuck here forever because there's so much craziness going on outside in the theme park. Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, Hank and I also came to this realization where we're like, wow, look at these people. This must be awful. This must be awful. Yeah. We were kind of like, well, maybe we should go experience.
Yeah, maybe we should go check it out.
It'd be pretty cool.
It can't, as everyone said, it can't be that bad. And then you finish and you're like, never again.
It's bad.
It's like like a marathon. You walk out of there and you're like, I'm never going to do that again. Then you get home and you're like, it was the best vacation I ever had in my entire life. I can't wait to go every year at New Year's.
Because I think there's so much for that. There's a reason that these days keep getting filled and filled and filled. Yeah. Because you have to think there are plenty of people who have done that before, who have been to the parks before, who just want to go again. That's the only time they can. And that's great. It's going to be a lot harder to ride all the attractions you want to ride. It's going to be harder to move around. You're going to have so much more planned out. But you're still in Disney World, you know?
So let's have some people indulge with us while we read a few more of our favorite wait times from midday on New Year's Eve day. One of my personal favorites, we can rant about this one a little bit. Peter Pan's flight, 1:55. So 2.5 hours you're looking at to ride a 55-second ride? A minute tops?
I think it's a little bit longer than that.
I'm exaggerating.
But it feels like it's a minute and a half.
I can't imagine how short it feels after waiting 2.5 hours. It's not even a good queue. Talk about a sea of humanity. Can you imagine waiting in that line, looking right out in that nook of Fantasyland right there?
Cooking in the sun. Yeah. Yeah, that must be.
Yeah, that can't be a good spot.
Something else.
No. Space Mountain was 180. That's not like a record. I feel like we've seen numbers in the 200s there every once in a while. But there were, I'll tell you what, at noon in Epcot on New Year's Eve day this year, I have never personally seen numbers higher in the Disney Experience app. So here are the big ones. Here are the numbers of the screenshot that I took at 12:07 p.m. Right when you walk in, bam, 110 minutes for Spaceship Earth. I mean, you're waiting 2 hours. Test Track was down. Later in the day, it was like 200 minutes still. Test Track was down at noon, so that's another kick in the teeth. Mission Space was 150 minutes. And then the biggest one, for me at least, that I just couldn't even believe it, Soarin' was 215 minutes.
My favorite thing...
That's almost 4 hours in line for Soarin'. There's 2 theaters. How many freaking people are in there?
And that was at noon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get out at 4, and then you still have what, like 12 more hours before?
Yeah.
Not 12.
I mean,
good God. I'm so bad at math.
Oh,
Until
I thought you were
midnight.
just saying,
There's a lot more.
like, I don't know, until park close. You must have been thinking about park close. There you go.
Sure, yeah, let's
go
cover
with
that up. Please cover that up. Well, my favorite part was when you texted me and it was like, what's the number one attraction that has the best wait time for ride length right now? Meaning like most bang for your buck. And I was like, I have no idea. I came up with something random.
Carousel
And you were
Progress
like-
or something like that, which is a freebie.
You were like, yeah. You were like, 20 minutes living with the land. I pulled up my app, and in the time he sent me that text, it was 60 minutes.
Everyone found out.
I sent it right back to him. I used the slam feature in the iMessage, and I said, not no more.
Yeah, everyone figured out our secret. That's a good one, though.
Figured it out.
Hey, bang for your buck. If you're ever floating around on a busy day in Epcot, dive into Living with the Land. Tucked back in the corner of the Land Pavilion.
I would love to know, like, fast pass lines must have been like
at least
very
half,
long.
Yeah, half
right?
hours, right? I mean, like,
Gosh.
I don't know. I mean, those are ones I'm thinking about. Like, I'm already starting to get. This does make me anxious. a lot of Disney World stuff makes me anxious. Where you like can't wait to plan my trip and go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge next year, and I'm like, oh crap. Unless I plan like a 5 or 6 day vacation, I'm not going to get a fast pass, am I?
Yeah.
Great.
That's the life we live, though.
But I mean,
That
who
is the life
knows?
we
I mean,
live.
maybe you won't. But that is something that we're going to have to start to think about. Is like you're going to have to take a several day vacation, and definitely at the end of your vacation is when you try to get your Galaxy's Edge thing. But hey, that's another way Disney can, nudge you in the ribs and say, by the way, did you realize that if you make your vacation longer, you got a better chance of getting fast passes for Galaxy's Edge?
Yep. Because
That's a
if you
complicated
don't know,
marketing message, though. I don't know how you get that
Yeah.
out there.
It's like, hey, spend $1,000 more to stay an extra day. You might get a fast pass. Because if you don't know, when you book fast passes, you're able to book for the entire length of your stay. So even if you're staying there for 6 days, when your first day comes up to book fast passes in advance, you can book it for your entire vacation. Because of that, the day you arrive, there's going to be a lot of people who are leaving. So when you go in, your first day there, you're probably going to have a tougher time getting certain fast passes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a tougher time, but you're more likely to get bigger fast passes towards the end of your stay. And of course, times of year when you're going, days of the week, those are all things to take into consideration as well.
Well,
But who knows?
Yeah.
The crowds are not going to get, I don't foresee the crowds dwindling anytime soon in the years to come. But who knows? Maybe the New Year's of 2020, Hank and I will have to experience what these parks are like.
yeah. Let's just get a 5th gate. That'd be great.
Let's get a 5th gate. Let's do that. And go. It's a new year, which means only one thing to us Disney fans: new things to look forward to. It's a great time to be a Disney World fan, and 2019 is gearing up to be a huge year for the parks, and even for the company as a whole. There's so much incredible and groundbreaking stuff coming. It is going to be a very dynamic year for the place we all love, and it will be setting the tone for many, many years to come. So let's break it down and share what we are most excited for coming in 2019. So I think 2018, 2017 really were years that we're just building to this moment. And this moment meaning the dominoes just seem to continue to fall, right, Hank?
Yeah.
I mean, it's this year is going to be big. 2020 is going to be big. 2021 is going to be big as well. We're getting
Bigger.
huge things
Yeah.
Each and every year. And it's kind of the culmination of all these announcements that we've been hearing for several years is finally starting to come.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've had Pandora and Toy Story Land, but now is really when big things are starting to fall.
This is an exciting segment, and we'll have a good recap at the end of it. But as we kind of wrapped up the year in 2019, not to say it was lackluster content, or in 2018, not to say it was lackluster content, but it was a lot of, like what's next? Like, what can we get excited for? What are the rumors?
Yes.
What are the things that we need to be excited about? Because right now we didn't get huge rides or huge, releases, that type of thing. Obviously, there were big records set with Black Panther and Infinity War this past year. There's a lot to be excited about, throughout the year, but it definitely feels like we've been shaping up for 2019 to be a big one. 2019 and
Absolutely.
2021 are years on the calendar where Disney fans, whether it be in the parks or in the cinemas, have been like, this is my year.
And I think, the movie theaters are a great place to start because last year Disney broke their box office record for, how much money they brought in. But it looks like 2019 I might say is going to completely shatter it.
Oh, yeah.
So coming up this year, they have several live action remakes. For starters, they're going to have Dumbo, they have Aladdin, and they have The Lion King. Those are going to appeal to those are going to be very nostalgic, obviously. People are going to go, I'm going to have to see The Lion King in theaters just because that was such an important movie for me growing up.
Yeah.
But I also think you have the new generation of kids who are going to want to be interested in that. So these three ones just appeal to so many people.
Man, such big name, particularly with The Lion King. Not so much with Aladdin, at least in North American markets. But The Lion King just has just an incredible cast as far as, names that people have to see in theaters that they haven't, some you don't even see in theaters that often. Like when a name like Beyonce is on, a movie trailer, that does not happen often.
No.
It's been a while. Dreamgirls?
Dreamgirls, yeah.
I mean, it's been a while, but I'm just thinking Centerpiece.
Austin Powers, Gold Member.
Yeah, Austin Powers, Gold Member.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big one. And, anyways, we could list out the entire cast for Lion King, but it's insane. There's going to be a lot of names that people have to see from a lot of different backgrounds.
And I think these are just going to be a cash cow. But I think hopefully what we've experienced in the former live action remakes, for me, if it was, The Jungle Book or Beauty and the Beast, those were just great movies regardless.
Yeah.
These are things that could easily ride the coattails of their former iterations, but
right, which I think a lot of people are rightfully skeptical in that regard towards Lion King. But on the other side of the coin, you got to give the right amount of clout to the cast behind it and what Jon Favreau's done with. God, it seems like everything he touches for Disney and just in the past several years has just been really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. Well, time will tell if those are good, but I think regardless, a lot of people will be seeing them in theaters.
And it's not like Elton John's some washed up character anymore. He's still packing stadiums full, and I think he can put together some a good couple new tracks.
It's his final bow, his final tour.
Yeah, that's true.
I know he actually had a concert in Orlando and people were upset.
Yeah.
Because they showed up to the theater, to Amway, which is where the Orlando Magic play, which is a G League basketball team in Orlando.
I've never heard of them.
And a minor league basketball team. And he canceled.
He had a cold.
30 minutes after he was supposed to go on.
Jeez.
People were upset.
He's coming back, though.
You can see his music in The Lion King coming in 2019.
Oh, great. A lot of good movies that next year. Connor, you have a list of all the Marvel movies that are coming out just from the Disney end. Captain Marvel starts off the year strong. We're very excited to see how Brie Larson steps into that role. A lot of skeptics out there just in the casting of that. But I think Carol is a complicated character to cast. I was playing this game, as you do with a lot of superheroes, or sometimes maybe I do. Who was on the short list to be cast? Would that one have been better? You look at all of them and you're like, yeah, this is just a big role. There's just big shoes to fill for Captain Marvel. I think people were going to be skeptical no matter who they put in that role.
Do you know who else was on the short list?
There are several unknowns.
Okay. I think an unknown could have done it just because that's a thing. So, but as much as people like Brie Larson, I don't think there's any preconceived notions about her. It's not like Ben Affleck in Batman. People were upset.
Yeah. Oh, you used a little bit of a Batman voice there. That was nice. People were upset.
It's just a little more. It's a little morning voice.
Yeah. And then of course, Avengers Endgame, which is the bookend on Marvel phase. You can't even say phase 1 because they're in phase 3 or 4 now.
They claim that they're in MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is in phase 3.
Yeah, phase which is the end of the first, I don't even know, trilogy.
Book? Could you say book? Yeah. It's something like that?
Yeah. A 3-part book.
Yeah, 3-part, longer than that. So the 2 other films this year, Captain Marvel and then also Spider-Man Far From Home, which will be released through Sony still, but it's part of the cinematic universe. Those are very important films because it's going to be setting the tone for what happens after Avengers Endgame.
Right, and that's why Spider-Man Far From Home is going to be a big one next summer, which is still, here's something that I'm looking forward to this year. How in the world are they going to market that thing? I have no idea. We already got a piece to the answer of how they're going to end up marketing Avengers Endgame, and at least for now, everyone that was dusted is gone. We did get the little hint that Ant-Man is okay. He's going to make it out of the quantum realm. But
thank goodness.
Yeah, I do love Paul Rudd. He is the perfect Ant-Man.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely perfect casting. Talk about a perfect casting. But
that one was pretty good.
But so right now, Disney or Marvel Studios is going to show everyone that got dusted at the end of spoiler, Avengers Infinity War is dusted. We can't get him back. We're going to try to get him back. But at some point in the next few months, there's going to either have to be some type of trailer or poster or something for Spider-Man Far From Home, and it's going to be yeah, he's okay.
Hey, here he is. This is weird.
This is uncomfortable. Also,
it is exactly.
Doctor Strange is in this movie too, and he's okay. But
what's that? What's going on?
Don't worry. Still
there?
See Infinity War 2.
Yeah.
But yes, other big stuff. Following next summer too, Connor, we got a couple big animated movies later in the year. Pixar dropping Toy Story 4. I know you're excited for that one.
I am. I think, we've said this before on the show. Toy Story is a very important film for Hank and I, one that kind of built our childhoods in many, many ways. I think I'm very curious about this just because I love the characters. When I first went to Toy Story Land this year, my face just lit up. I love seeing the characters there.
Yeah.
I love seeing the attractions, the whole theming, the whole vibe. I just love the Toy Story franchise. But, I'm skeptical because I thought Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending in many, many, many ways. And I know that Toy Story 4 could be a new beginning, maybe for a new generation that will grow up on these Toy Story films. But I'm interested to see the story that they go with and how it's going to fit.
you just got me thinking there. Like when you said new generation, is this going to be? Do we know yet? Is this going to be like the first part of a new generation of Toy Story or are they going to? Is this going to be another end? Is this going to be a second ending? We don't really know.
I don't think we know. I mean, I think there's, probably for Disney, they'd probably, like to boost that synergy. I mean, there's 3 Toy Story lands around the world. So I think, more elements they can add in, more meet and greets, more, kind of excitement
merch.
They can drive for that. And with, merch especially, if kids are like, I want to see my favorite character from Toy Story 5 or Toy Story 6 or something like that.
I just got to buy this spork. I've got to have the spork.
Yeah, got to buy this freaking spork. How much of a cash cow is that going to be? Buy this plastic utensil with pipe cleaners around it.
Yeah, pipe cleaners and googly
eyes. It's $47.50.
Yeah.
What?
All
right. $49.95.
But yeah, that will be interesting to see. That's where Marvel benefits, is they've got this huge library of characters that they can just go to and pick them off the shelf, especially with the acquisition of 20th Century Fox. Another thing we're looking forward to this year, to see how those will be folded in. We'll probably learn some stuff at D23 this summer, or at least get a hint of the plan where those IPs are going to be integrated into the Disneyverse.
Yeah.
So, but like a movie, an original intellectual property like Toy Story 4, there's not this library of characters that you can just go to and grab off the shelf. No. It's like you're stuck with Woody and Buzz forever because we don't have anything better. I mean, I do like how they continue to add in new characters with each one. In the second one, you got Jessie.
Bullseye
Jessie's
and
iconic
Jessie.
now.
In the third, you get Trixie and you get.
I was going to say you paused a little bit there. They didn't really. Well, what's his name? What was the bear's name? He was good though, but he's stuck to the front of a semi truck now.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah.
For Lotso Huggenberry.
Oh, Lotso, that's his name.
Lotso Huggenberry smells like strawberries.
He actually, if you ever see one of those in the park, go and smell it because they always do smell like strawberries.
They do smell like strawberries. Yes.
Every time I bring someone into the parks and I go up, I'm like, smell it. It's actually, and they're like, no, it doesn't. Oh my god, it actually does.
It smells like strawberries.
Yeah. Frozen 2 next November. Very excited for that. Connor, we talked about this on our first recording of this show. We talked about everything on the first recording of the show, but
take 1 of this episode.
This is a big moment for Disney Animation Studios. Much more so than Disney would ever want to lead on and tell anyone how important this is. Because behind the scenes, for those of you that don't read into all this as much as we do, but this is big because it's directed by Jennifer Lee, who directed the first Frozen. She has risen through the ranks slowly. She's been an EP on a lot of different Disney animation projects since directing Frozen 2. She's been there for a long time. But when John Lasseter had to step away this past year, it was announced that she would be giving, I still don't know the name of this position. She is like the creative director there now at Disney Animation Studios. She is the tippy top of the food chain. And she's still directing Frozen 2. And she also wrote the first Frozen. I think she's co-writing this one as well. Mm-hmm. So with her guidance, she is going to lead Disney Animation into a new era, which is, you could say, any name on planet Earth, male, female, black, white, and you would be nervous. It is a big, humongous shoe to fill. John Lasseter changed the face of animation forever. Did some bad things, and we can't look past that. But he changed Pixar Animation Studios, and then came across the aisle and fixed Disney Animation Studios.
Exactly.
Like that's when you know he's truly a trailblazer. So, anyways, a movie directed by Jennifer Lee. Which I actually did hear. Frozen 2 got greenlit by John Lasseter, so he had his thumbprint on this a little bit.
Of course.
But she's been in charge now for, over 6 months, over a year probably, since he started to take his voluntary leave of absence. She directed this. She wrote it. If you want to look inside the looking glass for what Disney's going to look like in the future on the animated side, this is it. This is what we're in for the next several years.
Yep, and it's going to be very big for the company as a whole to see, how they continue in that direction, or if it's a new direction, or who knows. All we know is that this year it's going to be Frozen 2, and we'll see what the future comes after that.
Yeah. Oh, and of course,
if you didn't think we named big enough films, all those classics and all those Marvel and all those billion-dollar, box office hits, animation hits like Toy Story and Frozen, the biggest one of them all, Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah, man. It feels like it's cooled a little bit ever since, Star Wars fans will be Star Wars fans. And disappointed in some aspects, in some realms with Episode 8. There were definitely, as a critic myself, there were problems. But, it's still Star Wars. Still coming out this year, and there's still plenty of reason to be excited. J.J. Abrams back at the helm as director. Are you excited for this one, Connor?
I think so. I rewatched The Last Jedi just last week, and for as cheesy and bad as certain script points are and plot points, I was still entertained by it. Yeah. I didn't take my eyes off the TV. I think that's always been the problem with Star Wars, is it's very entertaining. Yeah. But people, the super,
it's a space opera,
and fangirls out there are so, enamored with it that it can't just be entertaining. It has to be almost godlike, which is an unrealistic thing.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be, pressure going into each movie. So I think no matter what happens, if you hear a bunch of people complaining, it's still going to bring in $1 billion probably. So
yeah, and we got a lot more to cover beyond cinemas. We'll get back to Star Wars later in this.
We will. Yes.
Maybe. But there's a lot coming next year. Connor, you put on our list. Disney Plus streaming service is going to hit us later this year. Speaking of Star Wars, here it is again. They're going to have a series that's going to be on that. The Mandalorian with Pedro Pascal is going to be on that. A lot of new content. I know you're excited.
John Favreau is going to be directing that.
Oh yeah,
series. Yeah,
writing
about that series too. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I'm very excited for this just because of the catalogs that Disney now has. They have their huge catalog of films. They have Pixar stuff. They have Lucasfilm. They have Marvel.
Well, they might not be able to play Star Wars on it for a couple years because TNT has the rights to it still.
That's true, but they're already developing these new
Star Wars properties, right?
Properties and stuff. You might see like the Clone Wars or new animated series.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and also with the soon-to-be finalized acquisition of 20th Century Fox, that's a whole bunch of new properties as well that are going to come into the fold.
Be interesting to see if they cave on that R-rated thing or not.
Yeah, who knows? I think this isn't going to take away from the box office. Bob Iger, the CEO, has made that very clear that you're going to have your big hits. And he said that they're going to do a live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp. And he said there was no discussion of if that film was going to be on Disney Plus or if it was going to be released to the box office. It was always going to be on the streaming service. So they have these, this is going to be perfect for this, and this is going to be perfect for a cinema release.
Right.
There's just so much potential to continue to have Disney content with all these new properties streamed right to your TV. I'm very, very, very excited for it. It's coming late this year of 2019.
Yeah. And so we're a Disney World blog, so we got to talk about what's coming to the parks.
Like the Disney's Riviera Resort coming in fall. And I think we made a breaking news discovery. The Disney Vacation Club Facebook page launched a video a couple days ago about the Riviera Resort. And it showed a new concept art, and it was literally one picture, and words came across the screen that said, "Inspired by Europe, imagined by Disney." This photo looks great. I think it looks a lot better than any of the previous. It really does look
good. Thank goodness.
Any of the previous artist renderings we've seen. But the big thing that we just discovered is they named this Facebook video a grand gingerbread experience.
The whole hotel is going to be edible. You heard it here first.
Or it could be a huge mistake by a social media coordinator.
Yeah.
And their job might be gone.
I'm sticking with the, it was like the code name for the project. That's all I'm going to go with.
Code name for the project? That could be interesting.
Do you like the idea of making maybe a gingerbread experience coming to like the Grand Floridian or maybe to that hotel or something?
It's like you're living in candy. I always forget the name of the
Candy Crush.
the ride
that's not
that Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush. All you got to say is Candy Crush.
Vanellope von Schweet in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
It's like living on candy.
Oh yeah.
So that's coming. That Riviera Resort is going to be very cool. It's going to have a rooftop dining location, which will also offer great views of like Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and more so Epcot and Hollywood Studios nighttime spectaculars. So that's going to be worth exploring. And also the Coronado Springs renovation will be complete sometime this year as well. That's going to bring a new phase for that resort. It's going to bring in 2 new restaurants as well, one on the rooftop of their new tower, and then one in the middle of their Lago El Dorado, that's what it's called, lake. So yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, we're excited for that one. We said this when we did our little review of the hotel property last time, the resort property. That building, when you just see that giant concrete facade, you go, no way that's going to be done in a year. But it will. Or, less than a year. We're months away. A lot of work to be done. Yeah, it's exciting to see that that's going to be done really soon. I mean, you can book the hotel room, so there's no choice. That place is going to be done.
More hotel rooms, I think, is always a good thing. I mean, obviously that means more people, but it means more opportunities for people to stay on property, which I think is a good thing. And then, a new transportation system connecting some of these resorts, like the Riviera Resort, is the Skyliner system, which will be launching in the fall.
Yeah, we've talked about this one ad nauseum, but for good reason. I think that this is going to have... Connor and I tend to be the people that think this is going to have more of an impact than people realize. When you add another iconic form of transportation that is totally new to, half the parks. It's exciting.
Imagine going on a Disney vacation and then going back to your friends back home and be like, it was crazy. We got around on gondolas that went all throughout the resort. It was incredible. I think that's just a unique thing that you don't really see in America, at least, anywhere outside of like ski lodges and things like that.
Right,
internationally, there's gondola transportation systems, but it's going to be very, very, very unique.
Yeah, but
in America.
Even with how many points of transportation, like the fact that you're going to end up at this resort, this hotel, back door of Epcot, front door of Hollywood Studios, it's exciting. It's cool.
And if it does work out well, I think this is going to be the first phase of more stops that they could easily add in and attach to other lines and things like that.
It's exciting.
Something else that's exciting, it seems like Disney Springs, just for whatever reason, keeps having new areas that are popping up. Once you think like, okay, Disney Springs is done, it's complete. You're like, no, we got 2 more things coming. Like, what? Yeah. How's that possible?
Yeah, and hey, credit to Disney too for keeping the area feeling really fresh.
Absolutely.
And it almost seems like, and this would be a good move. It seems like we're still adding like anchor tenants, like you have on our list. Haleo is going to be opening the Jose Andres restaurant very soon. That roof has been developing so slowly. The agave, it looks like an agave fruit. But
looks like an agave fruit.
We got that one right this time. You guys will never get to hear how many times we got that fruit wrong in the first recording. But
probably for the best that we're doing this a second time. Actually.
Yeah, this is really good. Really good stuff.
This is good stuff.
It seems like they're adding a lot of anchor tenants. Like these restaurants that are going to be there for a long time because it looks like an agave.
Yes.
That's got to be like, a Mexican. It's going to be Jose Andres for a long time. Yeah. Or, it might be some other type of like Central American food or fare one day down the road. But they're adding anchor tenants. But it makes you think that Disney's always going to keep this, the construction wheel going there. So people always have a reason to come back and visit a new restaurant. It's just something you have to do in an urban environment like that they've created with it. With how many parking spaces they've got there, they're always going to have to keep I think the construction walls will probably never go down there.
Yeah, I think if you just think of it like a
New York
downtown
City
area,
right.
Yeah, there's always going to be construction going on because businesses close, businesses form. So there's always going to be kind of that cyclical kind of cycle going on.
Another anchor tenant there, Connor. MBA Experience and dining location opening up soon.
Yep, interesting move. I think the MBA Experience is going to be very out of place. I think that new like brew pub they got going, sports bar kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be very, very cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to pull in a lot of people? The MBA Experience, who really knows?
Like
Yeah.
we said, I mean, Disney, if it wasn't true before, it's very clear now. Disney really thinks they just own the NBA. I mean, why wouldn't they? With
owning ABC, it
ABC,
seems like
ESPN.
that's where you watch most basketball games. Yeah,
the NBA is so tied to ABC, ESPN. And, it's great for people in Orlando because this is the first NBA experience they'll really ever be able to go to in that city.
Exactly. Yeah, they've never really experienced a true NBA caliber team. I mean, I can't remember I know we already mentioned the semi-pro team that they have. I think is it the Orlando
Solar Bears.
Orlando Solar Bears. That's what it is. The Orlando Solar Bears. Yeah. So I think the residents and locals of Orlando will be happy to see that.
They can finally see an NBA team.
Finally see an NBA team. Shifting gears, the Tomorrowland Speedway should be closing right now. And I think that this is the first sign in kind of a little bit of an overhaul coming to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
I think as of late, we've noticed some new signage coming, some new painting of walls, of the rocks leading into it. I think it's going to be very, very much shifting towards a more retro design.
Yeah.
But we also have to keep in mind that the Tomorrowland Speedway is closing so that it can be, cut in a certain way, like cut down, reduced in size, because Tron Light Cycle roller coaster is coming in a couple years.
Yeah, my thoughts are, I'm very scared that there's going to be a ride down in Magic Kingdom for that long. Two people eaters like the train and Tomorrowland Speedway.
Yeah.
That's a couple years of not having all that stuff to just gobble up people in the park. It's good though for 2021 that those 3 will be back open again. But if you think about 2 rides going down, that's pretty significant about the amount of people that eats up.
Two big rides. Yeah,
big rides. And then my other thought about Connor, you and I talked about it, or you just talked about it, is this kind of re-theme for Tomorrowland. Boy, if there's any area in Magic Kingdom that needs to be freshened up, I hope they go all out and just make this whole place look like Tron. I know it's not going to go that far. I know it's not going to look like Shanghai Disney's Tomorrowland, but it looks like they're trying to get it a little bit closer to that,
See, I think it's going to go very much more retro than anything else, though.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think it's going to be a hard line to follow because the Tron Light Cycle roller coaster, from what we've seen, it coming from Shanghai and Shanghai Disneyland, it's so bold. It's so, futuristic looking. Yeah. Where other elements in Tomorrowland are like it's basically the future that never was, You know what? As long as they get rid of those robots that are like the news robot that's over by the entrance to... Hey, how dare you?
And all those goofy-looking robots in the set scenes on the People Mover. Like those really weird... I don't know.
That could use a refresh.
It's like steampunk almost looking stuff.
Yeah,
but
that one lady is in the the hairdresser.
Yeah, just those robots. They just look creepy, all right?
It's a little out of place.
That's not what...
out of place.
We got to get rid of those.
Who knows? Well, more news to come on that front for sure. Shifting gears over to Epcot. By the end of 2019, Illuminations will be going away. Right now, it's given a closing date of sometime in the summer, I believe, but I think we're hearing it's going to be extended until the new year of 2020. And then once that happens, they're going to get a interim show called Epcot Forever, which will ironically be not lasting forever.
Very limited engagement.
Before we can get Illuminations 2.0, whatever that confirmed name will be.
Yeah.
I think Illuminations is a very iconic nighttime show. It's still my favorite show. It has been going on for 20 years, so I'm very proud of the Disney online community, because I think a lot of them could be more up in arms than they actually are, especially with, closings as of late. People have been very, very, very upset, but I think a lot of people are excited for this. Yeah. I sure am excited for this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, from the online feel is that, yep, it's time for Illuminations to get refreshed. There's this promise of something pretty great in the future. So people are excited about that. It makes you wonder, like, why stuff. This will be a nice segue into another talking point. But why people got so up in arms about the Great Movie Ride, which was in such desperate need of an update for old movies that people a new generation from lack of being sensitive don't really care at all about.
No.
These kids aren't going to go on a ride to see Alien or Wizard of Oz. So people were rightfully, wishing Illuminations a fond farewell. But the stuff that's filling the Great Movie Ride spot is also something that we got to look out for in 2019.
And I think that's one of the bigger things that is coming in fall, and that's going to be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is considered what they're calling a 2.5D ride, so it'll be almost 3D. You won't have to wear glasses. First ever attraction featuring Mickey Mouse, starring Mickey Mouse.
Yep, that's a big deal.
The drawings and things look very cool. I'm excited for it just because, that space is iconic, and to have it anchored by a Mickey attraction in, the Chinese theater, the symbol of Hollywood studios. I think that's very, very cool, especially when you think about the history of the company. It was all started by a mouse in the movies, in the short films.
It could be, that's probably like my sleeper pick. We were talking earlier about like bang for your buck. If this was like a fantasy league, like you'd bet on stuff in 2019, stuff that you could get at cheap. I don't think people are expecting much out of it. That'd probably be my sleeper pick. I'd shuffle some chips over towards Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Because I tell you what won't be my sleeper pick.
Oh boy,
Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
No. You can get that one cheap. You could bet big on that one. Come home a big winner. You won't.
Huge.
We're just looking at, like you said, Connor. This could end up being a lot of screens, some cool looking character greets in that area, the soundstage back over by Aerosmith.
For Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, I think it's going to be more over by Aerosmith, like Hank was saying. I think it's going to be very much a kid-friendly ride, which even with Toy Story Land, I think that park, Hollywood Studios, needs more of. Yeah. And on top of that, coming just this month in January, where it used to be called Pixar Place, is going to be kind of turned into Metropolis, and the Incredibles will be there. They'll have new meet and greets, a dance party, and more. No, real big attractions, but I think just going to be more elements of people, things that can eat up people, that can consume people during those times. And
those times,
we might give Disney, crap for always. Oh, and there's going to be a dance party. Like, that's their fallback. Like, a dance party, dance party. Let me tell you something. These dance parties are so freaking popular. When Hank and I were last in Epcot, I don't know what the name of the DJ was, but it was slamming.
Yep.
Like, freaking packed. So,
Connor, the other big thing, you didn't put it on your list.
Smile. What didn't I put on my list?
Move it, shake it, mouse could dance it. My favorite word in the Disney vernacular is mouse can dance it. Connor, I've told you this before, but sometimes when I'm at my desk, I probably do this once a day. I just sit there and I think the word to myself. Mouse could dance it, and I immediately start laughing. Just sitting there.
Oh my gosh, I'm not looking forward to that.
Hank, why are you laughing?
Mouse
could dance it.
His coworkers think he's a lunatic.
Mouse could dance it. What kind of word is that?
It's not. It's something they made up.
Yeah. So anyways, if people are actually wondering what we're trying to say, we're not having a stroke. The name of this word is Mouse could dance it. Like, it is a combination of like the Mouseketeers, the old Disney club, and dancing it. Like you dance it. So Mouse could dance it. There you go. That's it.
Mouse could dance it.
That's the science behind Mouse could dance it.
And it's a new, short parade coming to the Magic Kingdom. Kind of like the Pixar Play Parade or the Move It, Shake It, Celebrate It Parade or whatever they're calling it now.
It's like you're saying.
It looks to be very, very big, very appealing to a lot of people. Mouse could dance it. I mean, you can slap that bad boy on a shirt, on anything you're going to sell. You're going to sell it for a lot of money. So that's going to be a big thing. But, the right behind the Mouse could dance it, I think that being the most anticipated new thing coming to Walt Disney World.
Right.
The second highly anticipated thing would be Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, that's the one where this one would be the most expensive to bet on for 2019.
Absolutely.
But I still think you could come out big. You could come out smelling roses because this thing is going to be awesome.
I think that the big thing for this is the future, right?
Yeah.
I think there's so many elements that we've talked about before about how when you go to one attraction and you're piloting the Millennium Falcon and you do something that enables the Millennium Falcon to crash, then when you go outside, when you go to the canteen, maybe a bartender says, hey, you know, the boss is really upset that you crashed the ship earlier. So your story is going to follow you, and this is very much a choose your own adventure kind of experience, an experience that is going to be a once of a kind experience and is going to be, I think, the future of themed entertainment.
There are so many layers that we have to be careful, or else we'll go into another hour of the show. There are so many layers of this experience that Disney's bringing to the park that we're going to be peeling back an onion like we've never peeled back before in the parks. Like
a gigantic onion.
We're going to bring you coverage of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, whether it's in LA or in Orlando, or in Anaheim or Orlando, but it's going to be a lot to unpack. I mean, every ride's going to have so many layers. Every corner of the park is going to have so many layers that it's not a one episode type of thing. It is a truly new era of Disney parks.
And we can't wait to experience it.
A lot of stuff in 2019. Like we said,
so much
to
stuff,
kick this thing off. 2018 was the year of waiting. 2019 is our first taste of, the future for Disney.
We'll be screaming, we want more, we want more. There's so much to come in 2019, but for now, that's going to do it for us this week. As always, thank you so very much for listening to the show. Be sure to rate and review us on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and share this show with someone you think might enjoy it. If you liked what you heard today, then you've been listening to the WDW Opinion Podcast. If by chance you didn't like what you heard, then you've been listening to The Knowledge Project. For Hank, I'm Connor. We'll see you real soon.